and with Mexico. A chance to put some distance between themselves and the balance of the group. 3 points at stake. Ian Darke, Taylor Twellman. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Bob. Time to wind up the World Cup tension again. Another qualifier. It's a busy time of year, but so far it's been a very, very good June for the United States, and they're in the mood to deliver again. Whether they can, Taylor, is what we're about to find out.
Yeah, and they have to be extremely careful, Ian, of being complacent. It's easy. It's human nature to look at the Honduras lineup and say, well, this is going to be easy. This is a must-win game for the United States. You look at Costa Rica coming up, and then at home against Mexico. Wonderful opportunity tonight for Jurgen Klinsmann and his boys to get 3 points and put themselves up in front of that hexagonal round of qualifying.
Won their last 3 games, including that victory over Germany, the morale booster before the qualifiers. Great atmosphere here. Salt Lake City's really embraced this fixture, and there's a good sprinkling too of Honduras fans, and I've got to tell you, some of them were here 8 hours before this game began outside the stadium this morning. And that keen. It's only the second time the USA have played here. The other time was 4 years ago, a win over El Salvador when Clint Dempsey and Josie Altidore scored. Will history repeat itself? Dempsey leading out the US here. What's it like for those players at moments like this, Taylor? You know.
Well, the hair on the back of your neck is standing up, particularly because the United States know they're in the driver's seat, and there's revenge. I don't care what any one of the players say. They remember the loss in Honduras in February. There's a little bit of payback in the back of their minds.
The fans in expectant mood here, and I've got to tell you, the surface is something to behold. They've been working at it 24/7, and it is a wonderful, wonderful playing pitch here. Time now for the national anthems.
And now, please raise your scarves and join pop recording artist Aaron James Carr in singing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hold on to your seats, it's another World Cup night. Can the US take another giant step on the road to Rio? We'll find out in just a moment. The USA against Honduras, it's next. We're live at the Rio Tinto Stadium on the outskirts of Salt Lake City. USA in a big World Cup qualifier against Honduras tonight. It's a wonderful atmosphere, but it's the players who have to perform, and it's time to take a look at tonight's performance player, fueled by Gatorade.
The U.S. have scored 10 goals in their last 4 games, mainly because Josie has been strong. He's been active and finishing plays off. Tonight, he will have his opportunities against a makeshift backline from Honduras. If he puts one away, he'll become the first American to ever score in 4 straight games.
If you're late tuning in, a reminder of the United States changes tonight. Graham Zusi and Jermaine Jones back in the starting lineup. Zusi was suspended for the last match. Jermaine Jones was recovering from concussion. DeMarcus Beasley's out suspended. Jeff Cameron a little bit unlucky to lose his place because he played very well in Seattle. My goodness me, there's been a contrast of conditions for the USA in this World Cup qualifying group. Remember the snow in Denver? Well, it's over 90 degrees at kickoff here. 91 to be exact, I think, Taylor. And when the two countries met in the opening game of the Hex in San Pedro Sula with a 2 o'clock in the afternoon kickoff, Honduras wanted that. It was only 88. And remember, Honduras shocked the USA and caused some despair about the US's chances of qualifying from this group. How things have changed in the 4 months since then. The United States' performance was much lauded against Panama the other night in Seattle. They'll look to play the same high tempo game today, being on the front foot. How will Honduras play it, I wonder, Taylor?
Well, looking from right now in the opening whistle, Honduras will have 10 guys behind the ball. It'll be very important to move that ball quickly along the back line.
The US on 10 points at the halfway stage in the Hex, and 6 of the 7 teams to have that many points at halfway have qualified for the World Cup. The exception was in the last cycle, Costa Rica. Still work to do. And a free kick here to be taken by Graham Zusi on his return to the starting lineup. Just looking for the little flick on Eddie Johnson among those in there. He's been switched to the left side tonight as Eddie Johnson. He's becoming quite a versatile performer for Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah, I think Jurgen Klinsmann looked at Fabian Johnson at left back because he knows Eddie Johnson will tuck inside, and with Honduras playing with 10 guys behind the ball, he wants Fabian Johnson to overlap and create some space out wide.
Just look at some of the substitutes going through at the top of your picture. Among them, Stuart Holden. Good to see him back fit again. Brad Davis, who's done quite well just lately. The defender Michael Parkhurst and Sasha Kleshin, who can cover a number of options, and the unlucky Jeff Cameron. They can, in fact, bring on any 3 players from the 23 they've named, each squad here. Here's a reminder of how the Hex stands at the moment, with the United States, Costa Rica and Mexico occupying the 3 places. 3 go through automatically. The 4th team goes into a playoff. That's Honduras at the moment, but they've put themselves back in business with their win over Jamaica the other night. And they were helped by the fact that Costa Rica and Mexico only drew. So it's very, very close. And things have changed quite dramatically in the group already. They could change again. I think that's a message that Tim Howard, the goalkeeper, was making in interviews he gave with some of the US writers yesterday at the hotel. No room for complacency. Job's not done yet. Here's Omar Gonzalez, again playing alongside Matt Beasler in the centre of defence. Those two, although they've only got a few caps, look as if they've been around for quite a while and forming quite an understanding. Bradley up towards Josie Altidore. Now Dempsey got something in his eye there just as the ball was about to be delivered in his direction. I'm not quite sure what happened there, whether that's an insect or something. Looked like that. Looks all right. A momentary problem for the captain. Rather given away there. Peralta couldn't keep it in play. A player who's just signed for Rangers in Scotland, who are making their way back in the general direction of the Premier League after all their problems. The left back, watch him, Emilio Izaguirre, is a star for Celtic and was in the team which beat Barcelona at Celtic Park this season. Good player, the left back. Here he is.
He's played over 60 games this year as well, and I think that's the matchup to watch tonight with Graham Zusi going against him.
Is Roger Espinosa, FA Cup final winner with Roberto Martinez's Wigan Athletic side. This is switch here towards Nahar. Former DC United player, puts in a dangerous ball. Mario Martinez is on the far side here, the Seattle Sounders player. Gonzalez got enough of a head to it. Peralta to play it back in and Beasler to get it away for the US, but that was a promising break by Honduras.
Yeah, the key for Honduras is when the United States will high pressure, it's how quickly can they switch fields.
Peralta again trying to find Wilson Palacios, a massively impressive figure usually in the midfield for Honduras. A vital player, plays for Stoke City. He's played for a few clubs in England. Nahar again, formerly named as the MLS Rookie of the Year in his days with DC United back in 2010. Here's Espinosa. Clever little trick, wasn't it? And he was bundled out of it by Eddie Johnson. That will be a free kick. It was a sweet little cameo from Espinosa. He has bags of skill.
It was naive defending, though, from Jermaine Jones. He rushes right at Espinosa. This is too easy. Actually, good recovery from Eddie Jones to recover for Jermaine Jones there.
A free kick to Honduras. Mario Martinez looking to swing this in with the left foot. It is him, but it's behind everybody. It wasn't the greatest delivery in truth. Haven't scored away from home in the Hex yet, Honduras. The two coaches, by the way, have met each other before. Luis Fernando Suarez and Jurgen Klinsmann at the 2006 World Cup, when Suarez was in charge of Ecuador and Klinsmann, of course, Germany. The Germans won it by 3-0. Now then, Fabian Johnson breaking forward. Dempsey towards the near post. Corner kick is the decision. Valladares, the goalkeeper, just getting something on it.
It's a great ball from Jermaine Jones, but this is all from Eddie Johnson tucking inside. It opens up the space for Fabian Johnson to knock it off first time. Great understanding between both Johnsons on the left-hand side. That is perfect.
Zusi with the corner kick here for the USA at a sunlit Salt Lake City. And, Dempsey attacking that with a header. That very easily could have been the lead.
Ian, we've already seen two dangerous set pieces from the United States, and I think that's where the absence of Bernardes for Honduras is going to hurt them tonight. Got Gonzalez, Beasler, Dempsey, Eddie Johnson coming forward. They definitely have the man advantage on set pieces.
Jose Velasquez, who's been brought into the defense tonight because of all the absentees, is only winning his 4th cap. It's be a big examination for him. Away by Juan Pablo Montez, another relatively inexperienced player back there. Of course, they'd normally have Maynor Figueroa, Premier League player who's just been transferred, by the way, to Hull City in England from Wigan. He's been injured for a while now. Zusi looking to play this forward. Zusi coming out to the left-hand side and Eddie Johnson going to the right already. A little switch momentarily anyway.
That's just a product of the corner kick. They haven't been allowed to switch back side to sides, but that's what you can do with Eddie Johnson and Graham Zusi. Both comfortable on either side.
Here's Brad Evans getting a run at right back. Almost a fairy tale story for him in recent weeks. The Seattle Sounders player. Here's Espinosa, much involved early on. And he does give the Honduras side that little something extra by way of flair. It's Claros, who plays for Hibernian in Scotland. It's no problem at all for Tim Howard, who's winning his 90th cap, by the way, tonight. Clint Dempsey, number 99. The 100 could come up against Bosnia on August the 14th, away from home. Bradley, one of those runs from midfield again. Zusi with the early ball, which is overhit. Dempsey's just saying to him there, Taylor, I wanted that on the near post. I was making a run there for you.
Yeah, but the promising thing for the United States was Michael Bradley pushing forward against Panama. His understanding with Jeff Cameron, Cameron staying deep, playing that number 6 in front of the 2 center backs. If Jones does that well, then Michael Bradley can get forward and be more dangerous.
Ball was given away by Omar Gonzalez to Espinosa here. Could be costly. Free kick on the edge. And a yellow card for Jermaine Jones as well. And he hadn't had a yellow before in the group, so that's 8 players out there now for the USA, who the next time they get a yellow will face a 1-game suspension.
Just a bad giveaway from Omar Gonzalez, and this is the difference between Honduras and Panama, is the quality in the midfield with Espinosa and Palacios. You have to be cleaner with your ball coming out of the back 4, and now you're 10 minutes into the game and Jermaine Jones has a yellow card.
80 to survive without another one. Enrico Weingart, by the way, the referee from Suriname. A quick yellow card for the United States. Now then, Palacios is lining this one up. Mario Martinez is there as well. Honduras showing a few teeth in the early stages here. Mario Martinez, the wall did its job. Be another free kick there, won't it? No, not given. Looked like a foul by Eddie Johnson, to be honest with you. And that's too far ahead of Jermaine Jones, who's springing from the midfield. Taylor, there's a bit of a different dynamic in this midfield tonight. Against Panama, Cameron was quite happy to sit deep and let Bradley push forward. Jones himself likes to drive forward a fair bit himself, doesn't he? He
does, and I think that understanding with Michael Bradley is very important. The difference tonight, though, is the opponent. They now have quality in the midfield, Palacios, Espinosa, that can put pressure and then release pressure for Honduras. There was no pressure in the midfield from Panama the other night.
Everyone in shirt sleeves here tonight. It's that kind of evening. Glorious weather and a pristine surface. What's not to like, really? Fabian Johnson back at left back tonight, heading it away. Here's Eddie Johnson. A lot of pressure on the ball from Honduras. Good pressure too. They won it back quickly, hunting in packs. The better start, really, from the visiting side here. Nahar. Bradley sliding in with the challenge. And Fabian Johnson. The referees let that one go as well.
The biggest difference early on in this game, Ian, is the first 13 minutes. It's been all Honduras and 50-50 balls. Any challenge whatsoever has been won from Honduras early on.
Well, here's Fabian Johnson's challenge, and he is one of those who's on a yellow card as well at the moment. What do you think?
I mean, that easily could have been a yellow card. He's late, coming in studs up.
Arnold Peralta, but the referee didn't even give a free kick for that. Or he has given the free kick, I think, now. Yeah, but Johnson escapes yellow. I think his heart must have been in his mouth there, really. The next game, incidentally, is away to Costa Rica, and the one after that is home to Mexico.
Well, and that's why tonight, I mean, we saw the standings early on in this game. That's why tonight is a must-win for Jurgen Klinsmann. I mean, you win tonight, you're at 13 points. Honduras says it's 7. You set yourself apart. But you can see it in Jurgen's face right now. There's a little cause for concern.
There are other games coming up in the qualifiers. Costa Rica away, Mexico, Jamaica at home, and then the final match at Panama. The US will hope to have everything under control and be safely qualified and not need anything from that final game. But there's no predicting the way things might twist and turn. Is Altidore. Johnson throw up towards Dempsey. Corner kick, that will be. Challenge coming in from Montez. And one of these corners has already produced a near thing with a Dempsey header. Susi again, this time deep towards Omar Gonzalez. He didn't win it, though. ESPN's presentation of US Soccer is brought to you by AT&T Rethink Possible and by iShares by BlackRock. Visit iShares.com to learn more. Goalless so far here. Slowish start from the United States, Taylor.
Yeah, but that's more credit to Honduras. I think they've done a good job of really making the field compact. And then once that ball gets to Bradley and Jones, they're putting immediate ball pressure in that midfield.
Here's Izaguirre. For the long ball forward. Honduras did qualify for the last World Cup. They went home early, played a little negatively. In truth, Izaguirre was probably their best player in South Africa. Honduras are the last team, incidentally, to win away from home in the United States in a World Cup qualifying match. 3-2 at the RFK Stadium in Washington, D.C., 12 years ago. The goalkeeper on that occasion was Noel Valladares. The goalkeeper tonight is Noel Valladares, winning his 112th cap. Jurgen Klinsmann thinks he might be a weak link as well, we learn. Good first touch by Zusi, wasn't it? Dempsey fed it wide. Fabian Johnson in there, and a very good effort from Eddie Johnson, just kept out by Valladares. Third corner already for USA.
The only reason why Eddie Johnson gets open here is because Fabian Johnson hits this first time. This is a dream ball as a center forward because now it doesn't allow that back four to get set up. That's a great ball in.
And here's another one. Susi with the delivery. This time it's well defended. Back into the melting pot again. Altidore lays it back. Zusi plays it in there just too long for Dempsey, who was waiting and hoping in the middle. Pressure beginning to grow, though. The first little concerted squall of pressure from the US. I think these players will want revenge for what happened in San Pedro Sula 4 months ago as well. It was a dispiriting defeat and a, frankly, very limp performance, characterized by rather too many errors. Zusi's corner again, this time easily away by Montez. His 5th cap alongside Velasquez, so it really is a bit of a rookie defense they've got there. Dempsey! Wonderful opportunity, and I don't think he got anything on it.
I love this recognition, though, from Graham Zusi, because Honduras is setting up lackadaisical coming out of the back. Look at this. Honduras is sleeping, no ball pressure. How often are you going to see Clint Dempsey not get a touch on a head ball wide open? Great ball in from Michael Bradley. Woo! That was close.
Massive opportunity, but still they wait for the first goal.
It's that tempo Jurgen Klinsmann was talking about this morning, immediately putting Honduras on their heels.
A lot of talk about consistency at United States press conferences. Can they put together another performance here with something of the wow factor as they did in Seattle a week ago? Bradley, General Bradley, as the Italian fans are sometimes calling him these days, with Roma. New coach there, though, next year, so that's always a little bit of a worry for any player. Jermaine Jones. Made his international debut when he was 28 for the United States, having played 3 times for Germany in friendlies before that. Has an American father and a German mother. Jones looking at the options. Altidore showed himself off towards Dempsey. Got a bit of a lucky bounce in his direction. Anywhere will do for Honduras on that occasion.
But that's the kind of game it's going to be for Jozy Altidore. We're 19 minutes into this game and he's had 2 touches. It's going to be frustrating. He has to keep his mental side positive in this game and keep making those runs and open up space for Dempsey underneath.
Mario Martinez back to Wilson Palacios for Honduras. And then Roger Espinosa. Is Izaguirre. Yeah, and that comes to absolutely nothing. Jurgen Klinsmann all the time, you'll see him clapping his hand. Let's get this ball back. Let's keep up the tempo. Even the ball boys are on message, I think, with that. Monica Gonzalez, our touchline reporter, can tell us more.
Thanks, Ian. Well, the last play when the U.S. had the ball in the back line and they were playing it around, Jurgen Klinsmann was hollering for them to find Jozy. Jozy was posting up top, but there was a nice gap of space between the back line and the midfield. If the U.S. back line could find Jozy, then their midfield can play facing forward.
Thanks, Monica. A lot of individual battles as ever to be won out there. Bradley miscontrolled it, but then had the strength to win it back again. He is getting options for just about every position all across the pitch, happily, Jurgen Klinsmann, but you would worry a bit if Bradley was ever missing or if Clint Dempsey was missing. Here's Jozy Altidore now. Showing his strength, cutting inside. It's a good challenge in the end, though, by Montes to nick that ball away from him. Here's Arnold Peralta. And that's careless.
That's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen Honduras find some space and just knock it out of bounds.
Honduras' next match, by the way, is in the Azteca, away to Mexico. And they've got Panama and Costa Rica at home, and they finish with an away game at Jamaica. Apart from the Mexico game, they might feel the others are winnable. A lot might depend on whether they can get anything tonight. Also playing tonight, a bit later than this one, Costa Rica at home to Panama. Busy time of year. Altidore does well, turns it back round the corner. And is that kept in play? Yes, it is. Easily snapped out in the end by Nahar, who was back helping out the defending.
But right now is a wonderful opportunity for the U.S. to put pressure on Honduras in their own corner. when your right back goes forward like Brad Evans does, it's very important that Graham Zusi, Michael Bradley, Josie Altidore swarm that corner.
The patient probing stage, I think, this for the USA, and that's always required. ESPN's coverage of the Confederations Cup continues tomorrow as Brazil hosts the embattled Mexicans. That's tomorrow, 2:30 on ESPN. Also available live on your Watch ESPN app. No support up there at all for Carlo Cosli. Of course, Jerry Bengtson, the New England Revolution player who's got 7 World Cup qualifying goals in this cycle, as many as Clint Dempsey, is not in the team tonight. He wasn't in the team the other night as well, and he's left the camp after a falling out with the coach. That doesn't help Honduras, of course. Nobody's quite sure exactly what happened. He's playing in a friendly, isn't he, somewhere tonight?
Yeah, he was in New Britain, Connecticut tonight with the Revolution.
Does seem a waste, doesn't it? But the coach knows what he's doing and has the chemistry of the team to think about, as does Jurgen Klinsmann, of course. Matt Beasler won the header over the head of Najar, who seems to have gone out to the left-hand side for the moment, swapped over with Mario Martinez. Just can't hold on to the ball, though, Honduras, not for long. And I think they'd regard a point out of this Honduras away from home as gold dust, particularly bearing in mind their disappointing away form in the group so far.
Well, and plus they have to go to Mexico in their next game.
Yeah, if they're not careful, they lose here, they lose there. Their hopes could be, well, not dead, but all but dead. 16 points really is the magic number to get to, and the USA are already on 10. So 2 wins out of 5 ought to do it. Zusi here, too long. This Sunday, the leading scorer in MLS, Jack McInerney, who, by the way, is in the American Gold Cup preliminary 35. His Philadelphia Union side up against New York Red Bulls with Thierry Henry. It follows the Spain-Nigeria Confed Cup match Sunday, 5 o'clock on ESPN, and of course available on your Watch ESPN app as well.
And U.S. soccer fans will be extremely excited to see Jack McInerney in the Gold Cup roster as well. Preliminary, but I'm assuming he's going. He should be.
When it's cut to 23 from 35, Landon Donovan, Carlos Bocanegra, and Guch Onyewu on that list of 35, intriguingly. Bradley showing himself for the defenders. Give it to me, I'll orchestrate things for you. Beasler, the Sporting Kansas City player, up to Fabian Johnson now. Set up the first goal brilliantly the other night. Here he is foraging forward again, but so it comes to a full stop. It's Claros breaking it up, the defensive midfield player who's come into the side. One of 4 changes Honduras have had to make here, and Martinez stays down here. Altidore, who is another one on a yellow, getting in a bit of a verbal heated exchange with Claros there.
But this is what Honduras wants, Ian. They're coming on the road. They want to have any kind of stalls in these games, any kind of gamesmanship they can have. I mean, this is Josie Altidore fighting. He comes in to Mario Martinez, but this is what they want. They want to slow the game down.
Frustrate, break up the U.S. rhythm.
You could argue, though, Josie's lucky not to get away with a yellow card there.
Yeah. Particularly, I thought, Fabian Johnson earlier on. As it is just Jermaine Jones in the book so far tonight for the USA. The American Outlaws with chance of USA. USA trying to really get behind this. So now then, can Carlo Costoli get there? Beasler, a bit of a misunderstanding there between Howard, who'd come out. Beasler went for it anyway. That could have been worse than it was. It's Dempsey again for the US, unbeaten the last 12 years and 24 home World Cup qualifiers since that Honduras win in Washington. Claros helps it forward. Costoli needs a little bit more support and maybe one or two players breaking beyond him, but Honduras's main aim is to ensure that the security is tight defensively, not being too adventurous. Nahar breaking forward. Costoli's arriving. He's running out of play. Andy Nahar. That was a promising situation wasted for Honduras. Nahar, who's been signed by Anderlecht, the top Belgian side, for $3 million in recent months. We're going to get a little stop in the action for a moment here as Carlo Costoli gets a bit of treatment. Not quite sure what happened, but they're going to make the most, I think, of every little injury break here to wind down the clock, as you were saying, Taylor.
Well, it's what Jurgen Klinsmann said this morning at breakfast, didn't he? First thing he was concerned about is that the players were going to lose their concentration because of stoppages like this.
It's nothing that the US wouldn't have been expecting, I think, here. This is how Carlo Costoli
look
gets
right
hurt.
here, Carlo Costoli right here lays the ball off and he turns. Immediately, you can see him, he pulls up.
I've got Roger Rojas warming up, who scored in the game against Jamaica. Right, and is left out tonight. He might come on. I think he's done here, isn't he, Costoli?
Yeah, but this is why I bring up Jerry Bengtson again. Okay, so you don't start him from the beginning. You have to have him in the lineup.
Not quite sure what the problem. Looks like a calf injury, doesn't it? I think that's more than just cramp, isn't it? That's where he's pointing anyway.
Well, and it's hard to speculate on any type of injuries, particularly when it's this hot out, but, you know, it's just shocking that Jerry Bengtson is not here for Honduras.
He's the coach who made that call, Suarez. But without knowing all the details of exactly how it came to pass that he left the camp, whether it was his decision or the coach's, it's hard to be too dogmatic about it. It's a shame for Honduras, mind you. Not quite found their rhythm so far, USA tonight. Martinez again, of course, knows a lot about all these US players. That's his Seattle Sounders teammate marking him over there, Brad Evans, for a moment. Just been a little error strewn. To do with the layoff to Dempsey, and Eddie Johnson had sprung forward. It was a nice idea, but like so many moves so far in this first half, it just didn't quite happen.
You're looking at how narrow the field that Honduras is making this. U.S. has had success when Fabian Johnson's got forward out wide. Too often you get baited into playing through the middle, trying to play off of Josie's feet or Clint Dempsey. Get it out wide and get numbers forward.
Free kick here for Honduras. They are going to make this change now, bringing on the player in the number 21 shirt, Roger Rojas. 23 years of age, coming on for his 18th cap. Plays for Olimpia, one of the club sides in Honduras. Just see exactly how they're going to play that. You'd think he'd go furthest forward, as he did against Jamaica. Espinosa looks Honduras' best player out there. built well down that side, and this is played in towards Naha. Had to be careful there. Fabian Johnson, he did it well using his chest. Here's Eddie Johnson now. Jermaine Jones offering the drive. He loves this from midfield. Strong and powerful, brought down along the way, and I think there might be a yellow card coming out here for Arnold Peralta. Yeah, he just took him out.
I mean, what a run from Jermaine Jones, though. This run started inside his own 18-yard box. Head down, no one's stopping him whatsoever. That's a great run.
Peralta will miss Honduras' next game away against Mexico. Yellow card accumulation. It's very, very harsh. All these games that they play in qualification, and you're only allowed to go up to 1 yellow. The second, you're out for a game. Tough. Free kick here, US. 34th minute. It's Dempsey looking to measure it. Wall did well. Dempsey won't keep that in play. Taylor, all the signs are that this is going to be a bit more of a battle for the points than the Panama match.
Yeah, well, Honduras is a better team, Ian. And yeah, they're missing 3 or 4 starters, but the fact is, in the midfield, they make life very difficult to play through the middle, and it's very important that Eddie Johnson, Graham Zusi get on the ball often and allow the outside backs to get forward.
Jones is pulled up again. Remember, he is already in the book and has to just watch his step a little with the referee. Espinosa thought he was fouled by Altidore, not given by the referee, who was 3 yards away. Now Brad Evans making a case for himself as the right back, although that was a bit of a sloppy pass that could have worked out a little more in a troublesome way for the US than it did. Something of a chess match at the moment. Bradley Long, Eddie Johnson onside too. If he could have brought that down, he was 1-on-1. Just a little too long for the man who scored the second goal and took it brilliantly, I thought, against Panama in Seattle in front of his home fans.
Right, we saw that exact same run. The ball was from Jeff Cameron, but Eddie Johnson loves to bait that defender inside and then get in behind.
Mixed it up well, the US there. Short passing, longer ball. It was Cameron who picked out Eddie Johnson the other night. US get the free kick, a little talking to for Rojas, the recently arrived substitute for the Honduran side. Honduras nearly went out in their first round of qualifying. They left it to the last game and then did it in style, hitting 8 goals past Canada to move on into the Hex. Bradley. Here's Fabian Johnson. Bradley. Tempo was the key word in the US planning for this game. Is the tempo high enough?
No, it's not, but I give the Honduras a ton of credit because they've taken the crowd completely out of this game right now.
Now then, Zusi. Crowded out, not fouled either. Velasquez getting in the challenge. Zusi stays down. Referee's letting quite a bit go here. Bradley. Dempsey. Izaguirre nicking it away from him. Season of Champions League experience behind him with Celtic, the Scottish champions. Zusi's still down.
Well, and this has been the story of the first half for the United States. It's been all Honduras making the game ugly, tackling. That's a good tackle. It's a solid tackle. Yeah, it's from behind a little bit, ball first. That's been the story for the first half. Honduras has been first to every single tackle in the midfield.
I think the referee got that one right, didn't he? Good work by Velasquez.
And keep in mind, Brad Evans has a long throw here.
Here it comes.
And his teammate from Seattle, Eddie Johnson, know that. Look for Eddie Johnson near post.
Bouncing around. Too much pushing for the referees, lacking. Free kick. Honduras. Bit frustrating this for the US so far. But they are in a great position. That's the big picture in this group. All the traffic signals on green, really, for Jurgen Klinsmann and his men as far as Brazil next year is concerned. Maybe a game or two on from this, thoughts will start to turn to what kind of challenge the US can put together for that competition, on the assumption that they do make it.
Well, they've got a challenge staring them right in the face right now with Honduras.
Has to be said, the noise levels from the crowd in Salt Lake City not quite matching the decibels we heard in Seattle the other night, but
it's not even close.
Yeah, but the players have to give them something, don't they, to rev that up a little bit.
Well, to a certain extent. On the other hand, though, that's part of being a home field advantage, no?
Just watching serenely in the sunshine, really, at the moment. Most people here, even the Honduras fans, and there are quite a few of those around town as well. Martinez feeds it wide for Espinosa. Claros muscled out of it. This time he does give the free kick.
Well, the referee's had a decent game so far, but he misses one here. I mean, Josie coming in from behind, and actually, I stand corrected.
Yes, free
Good
kick,
call.
wasn't it? Yeah. Pulled him back by the shoulder. Guilty, my lord.
That's my only apology tonight to the referee, by the way.
I'll keep you to that. I'm betting against it. Here's Izaguirre. Oh! Cross shot looked useful. It was a bit further wide than it might have looked from our angle, but it was well struck. And that's the danger for the US. They're on the front foot and asking most of the questions, but there's always the possibility of getting caught by a sucker punch. Playing right, has been signed by Ali McCoy, Rangers, and they say they're going to play him as a defensive midfield player. A lot of respect for the Honduras setup among European coaches. I was talking to Roberto Martinez about this just the other night. He's got a lot of admiration and, of course, has signed a few Honduras players in his time.
Well, look at the success they've had going to Europe as well. Palacios, Espinosa, they've done well.
And Figueroa, of course, fifth corner for the USA. Can I make one of these pay off? And just get the atmosphere sparked up a little more if that were to happen. Bradley. Zusi charged down. The break was on momentarily. Martinez.
I just shake my head at that, because if you are going to do a short corner, you have to make sure you get delivery inside that 18. You're bringing Beasler, Gonzalez forward. You have to make sure you get a cross off.
Beasler with the header. Just having to bide their time here, the USA. No need to panic, mind. Zusi. Into a good area, but again, the Honduras defense holding firm. So far away from home, they've lost 2-0 in Panama and 1-0 in Costa Rica. Defeats which have damaged their chances of going to Brazil next year. Tonight they're looking a little bit as they looked in South Africa. Not too much going forward, but very, very hard to break down. Didn't help they were in Spain's group, by the way. Here's Espinosa, the brains, really, of this Honduras side. Claros looking to spread the play, but to no great effect. Five of the 6 teams in this hex, by the way, so far, are unbeaten at home. Only Jamaica have lost a home match so far, and they've done that twice to Mexico and the USA. Brad Evans, famous winner in the dying seconds.
Just some sloppy giveaways right now. The last 15-20 minutes from the United States has been sloppy.
Coming up at half-time, we'll go back to the studio, join Bob, Alexi and Casey for first half analysis and comment.
You would have to think coming out in the second half that Jurgen Klinsmann wants a little more sense of urgency from the United States, particularly when they take the ball off of Honduras. Can you catch them on the counter?
The pace looks slow. The tempo he was asking for, I don't think's really been there. Not much, but oh, Altidore and Dempsey just caught his heel, and that's the way it's kind of gone so far. Every road has turned into a cul-de-sac. Given away by Biesler, caught out. Nahar almost invited to go alone here, and that was a bit dangerous. Gonzalez didn't come across, and cover almost invited him to go on and on and on, and if the shot had been better, the US might have paid.
A bad giveaway, but this 20-year-old from Honduras, Andy Nahar, is something special. You see right away why he was an MLS Rookie of the Year. Big save from Tim Howard.
A save he would have expected to make, and he wasn't happy there with the defending. There you just saw that they are still quite inexperienced, Biesler and Gonzalez. 2 minutes of stoppage time to be added, and a corner kick now to Honduras late in the half. Martinez. Bradley has to help out. But they've had their moments, Honduras. Not many attacks, but they've had their moments. 1 or 2 sloppy pieces of play defensively from the US. Here's Eddie Johnson. He's Aguirre. Brilliant piece of defensive work from him. Never took his eye off the ball.
No, but did you see the run from Espinosa? It's 40 yards across field to stop Eddie Johnson and allow Aguirre to stand up Eddie Johnson.
Quite happy to just take the pace out of this, make sure they get to halftime. That's a little error by Palacios in there, but Claros is there doing some covering for him. Honduras might feel a little happier with the way the first half has gone than the US so far. They might regard their game plan as working. Final seconds of the half here. Nahar with a very presentable opportunity very late in the half for Honduras. A little alarm signal that for the US, who perhaps just need to up the tempo a little bit in the second half. Here's Eddie Johnson to Michael Bradley. Half-time coming up very, very shortly now. And there it is. No breakthrough, no goals, a lot of frustration, hard work for the USA out there. 1 or 2 defensive errors as well. And there's a job still to be done out there. Tim Howard having to make a big save there late in the half from Andy Nahar, the former MLS Rookie of the Year. Goalless at halftime at Salt Lake City as we hand it back to Bob Lee.